All right, we ready?
Robin Kelly.
Can't talk about the Caribbean anymore? That was quick. Ginger rail man, huh?
Hey.
Just a reminder that all workshop Township Council meetings will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Please don't forget, you are being audio and videotaped. Roll call, please.
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
Terry?
Here.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 8th, 2022. Items for discussion. Let's start, Greg.
Okay.
I think I got it right this time, right? 2023, Greg goes first. Greg goes first.
Okay, so it's a long list, it's gonna be a lot of show and tell tonight, but I'm gonna pass these down, if you could kind of pass that down that side. There's one for you, I'm gonna give a couple down this side. First one is, this is the 1421 Walnut, the vacation of North Dittmer Drive. What the plan will show you there with what I just gave you, there's a little squiggly line the homeowner put on. That is an area where the homeowner already has a fence. So you can see the fence already is encumbering onto the right-of-way. So we went and measured this a couple days ago, and it turns out that the fence that they put in luckily takes up about 23 feet of the 50-foot right-of-way. So what I would recommend, and this is all they're asking, they only want us to vacate half. So I think if we give them half the vacated right-of-way of that piece, it gives the, everybody from the other side of the Deal Lake Commission, everybody the access they wanted. And that, they think that's all they have now because that fence already exists. There is a walking trail behind, through the trees behind that fence. So I think that would kind of satisfy everybody if we just gave them 25 feet.
The 23 points, it's 23 and a half feet? Is that what I'm looking at?
No.
Right here?
Yeah, no, that's,
23.6?
yeah, that's just the distance of probably the length of the straight.
Oh,
piece of the
same
fence.
thing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just, what essentially they just need 25 feet as a half right-of-way width. So
Okay.
it's generally when we vacate, we give half to each side. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We kind of say we're giving half to the lake and half to the resident. So if you don't have a problem with that, I'll do up the description, give it to Matt, and then I'll tell the property. The property already knows we're in favor of this. It's just I didn't know if the fence already went beyond, the 25 feet or into the whole right-of-way, because then the Deal Lake Commission would have nothing. And that's when we wanted to get easements, and that's when it kind of get a little.
So have you talked to Don or, are they good with it? I
spoke
mean, not
to
that they
Don
have a
today.
say per se, but
No, I wanted to make sure you guys were okay with it, and I can give him a call.
As long as Dawn.
John just wants the clearance
Around
around,
the lake.
that's all.
okay.
Deal
And
with
this would
commission.
allow-
And same thing with
Ed.
Ed from
Yep.
EC,
Mhm.
they wanted the same thing.
So I think in the future, anytime we do something, a road along the lake, we just maybe vacate half of it and keep the other half for that access. That may be the way. to do it.
Just know for the record that we're all good with it as long as Don and Ed are
Ed.
fine.
Can you run it by
The
Ed?
access.
Can you run it by Ed?
Yeah, I got a meeting with him, I think, next week.
So space-wise, this leaves how much room for public, how many feet?
25 feet will be left of the 50-foot right-of-way. We're gonna give them.
What do you think?
25 feet, okay.
Yeah, but that's not even, there's still distance between that line and the lake.
Okay,
So it's not like that 50 feet doesn't even go up to the water surface.
okay,
So there's plenty of room in there for them to get through.
25 feet.
Greg, are we sure about vacating half? Are we able to do that?
Well, we could just say, yeah, why not? I mean,
Because if it's a public right of way and you're vacating, I don't know what's on the other half of this, that's just my question.
we could give it to the lot of the Deal Lake, but Deal Lake has a lot, so that's what I was intending.
Oh,
to do,
okay.
Just give it to.
Oh,
Deal
yeah.
Lake.
Well, okay, so you're vacating the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
half,
good.
half
Oh,
of
okay.
the Deal Lake,
Yeah.
half will go
Okay,
to
so
the
it
property
wasn't,
owner.
you're vacating, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure, you're vacating the entire.
Right,
right
just giving
of
them
way.
half, right.
Yeah.
Sorry
He
about that.
scared me for a second.
got it.
I see what you're saying, you thought it was a portion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay,
So it's
Greg,
on for
next.
tonight, that makes sense.
You good?
Next thing
Oh, it's
is,
not on for tonight.
today in the mail, I
it
got a
26?
copy of a plan from the NJDOT regarding Elberon Avenue. They would like to put a cul-de-sac at the end of Elberon Avenue and close that off, and they're gonna take, I assume they're condemning a part of the VFW hall. They show that on the plan. I don't know,
I'll give you this copy.
I mean, from an engineering point of view, I think it solves one problem we had with the two streets with Berger and Elberon coming out so close. It's a little bit of a safety hazard going on to Norwood. But from everything else point of view, I don't know how the board would want to, how the council wants to take that, because I don't even know how VFW's taking this. You know, because you can see they're encumbering on their property. Half that cul-de-sac is coming from the VFW property.
Now, the V,
I thought
They don't own it
it.
anymore.
They sold it.
The old VFW.
old
Somebody
VFW.
bought it.
So whoever bought that is now, I assume they're in talks with them, but they may have sent it to us while they're sending it to them to see what the town's comments are. So that's why I'm kind of presenting it to you.
Why do you think they'd want to do that?
Well, it's a safety issue.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no question. But what I would like to do, I want to send it to the police and fire, because I personally think it would be better, if you're going to get rid of one of them, would be to get rid of Berger from the police point of view and emergency vehicles, because that's kind of more of a straight shot to get to Norwood than trying to get over to Berger would be. But I will leave that up to them to answer that question for us. So I'll send that to them, and maybe next workshop we can talk about it and see if we want to go back to DOT and say what our comments are to, we were in favor or not in favor of it.
That's good.
Okay. Okay. Next one, part of the road program, the 22 program, it's actually been advertised today, so it's out to bid. The notices for all the homeowners were sent out for the assessment, so that's all out there. One of the things that we have is, the people on Roselle Avenue where we were putting that sidewalk to connect with the Peck to Logan, some of them were not aware that we were doing this. There's a couple of them. So I'm just gonna go talk to them. I just wanted you to be aware that it's kind of a surprise to them. We I think, made the assumption that the group that came to us talked to all these people. There's 14 lots that don't have it. So I'm gonna make every effort to go out in the next couple of weeks and talk to all them, show them what we're doing. They're just kind of, why are we getting assessed for something? We don't even have a sidewalk. They don't realize we're gonna get one. So I'll be talking to them. I just wanted you to be aware in case you get any phone calls. Next item is another show and tell item. This is the two crossings. First, this is related to the sidewalk on the east side of Whale Pond Road. There's two places where there's, that I circled on red here, that the sidewalk does not exist. So if you were walking down the east side of Whale Pond to the south, you could not cross these two areas that I've highlighted. The first one is actually the crossing at the Poplar Brook. And there's a second crossing where there's a little ditch that crosses with a guardrail. So I'm looking to try to continue this sidewalk all the way through for the people that are walking this area. We've already done the wetlands flagging. The northerly one, because it's on the Poplar Brook, is gonna be rather expensive. Application-wise, it's probably about an $8,000 application fee to DEP, because it's in a flood hazard area and wetlands and all sorts of things. But the big problem there too, from a construction point of view, is the brook has actually an old brick wall, which is just about falling down. So you can imagine when I go and I extend this to 10 feet, that's all gonna have to probably be gabion baskets. So we're looking at that northern crossing, it's probably gonna be in the neighborhood of $75,000 to $100,000 total fee to do that one. Now,
This is where they had the flooding, right, a couple
Yes,
weeks ago
that's when
during
the
that.
culvert was blocked.
Did-
yes.
Was it blocked by the brick wall breaking
No,
down?
there was something jammed in the pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Debris or?
Yeah, it's just like the second time in 10 years it's happened. It's just all debris that comes down through the brook when it comes out of the forest, really. The floatables, and they eventually all collect in there. So if it keeps happening, I suggest we put a trash rack on the front of it, just to stop it outside so it won't flood the street. It could then go around in the park and then over top that and go through the pipe. So maybe we should, I'll look into
Yeah,
that.
look into that.
Okay. But as I talked about last time, for that northern crossing, we actually put a crosswalk in at Elizabeth and then back again at Shadow Lawn. So you can actually go to the south. It's not a straight route, but you can actually get across the street, go into the sidewalk that's in Playa Park, go to the south, cross back across. It's not the greatest route, but it's $100,000.
So my 2 cents, I run it as often as I can. I would agree. I don't think it's worth 100,000. I mean, we put those crosswalks there for exactly that purpose. My 2
Yeah.
cents.
The other one to the south, though, has the problem that we don't have crosswalks. There's only one at Shadow Lawn. There's no, the sidewalk ends in Joe Playa Park before the corner kind of goes around. So for them to go into Playa Park, it's not quite as direct.
And where's,
But-
that one I can't figure out.
Yeah, it's a very small one. There's actually, it's a small little pipe, there's a guardrail right on the road, and there's no room behind it. And this is when we talked about the first time, I thought this was.
Oh,
the
it's
one we're
right
talking
at,
about.
it's right after Rico Saka's house.
Yes,
Yes, okay, I know what
so
you're talking about.
that one, you know, we're talking, that's probably, the application's about about $1,000. Construction cost is probably about 10 to 15, depending on what we sign in there. Probably less than that, if I'm giving you a high number. So to do that one would be very easy, but then we would have a sidewalk that you could actually walk from there all the way up to,
And what's wrong with the one on the south side?
there's no sidewalk there. You have there's a curb, then about 2 feet, there's a guardrail, and after that, we have a ditch.
No, not the north side, the south side.
That's the south, that's the southern.
West side, sorry, let me go
I was
back.
gonna say, what's north and south?
Sorry.
But you can
That's
dive into the park here,
That's the,
right?
sorry,
Not for the southerly one, you can't.
No? I always
So-
figured I walked across something to get to the fair.
You would, but you'd have to come back out at the
So
intersection
east.
by the
Yeah.
light.
Okay.
so you go past Falco, Falco's is the last house before the park. So there's a sidewalk in front of Falco.
You're on the west side of.
I'm on the
Whale
west
Pond,
side,
yeah.
correct. So,
And that sidewalk, remember, 2 years ago, we put that sidewalk from that
Continued
property, continued it to hit the sidewalk in Joe Playa
right,
Park.
because that was the sidewalk that went to
Right.
nowhere. So that's
So the
perfect.
west side is all done.
So respectfully, why can't they cross and come back?
Well, if you were going to the south, say you're coming to Shadow Lawn and you wanted to walk to Deal Road, you can't get there real easy.
You come and
Because
shadow
of that
on,
one crossing.
you go
You
across,
could go across, but when you get into the park, you know, that sidewalk peels away from the corner. There's no sidewalk that brings you to the corner.
The intersection, it doesn't go as far as the intersection,
Right.
it hooks you
peels
back,
in, but
back
there's-
and sends you up Deal
but there's-
Road.
There's not even a walkway to the corner, so you have to walk through the grass. So we either have to go into the park and put that sidewalk in, or just do this little crossing here. It's probably about the same price. This would be much more direct, and it's right there.
Yeah, okay.
It's not
You
a
got me.
major crossing, it's not a stream crossing, so
Yeah.
the permitting's pretty easy.
you got
So
me.
Greg, give the figures on these again.
The northerly one there is probably 75 to 100,000, application fee and construction.
And this-
$10,000 application fee, $8,000 application fee, and then you're probably looking at 75 to 80 for construction costs.
80,000, wait,
On the
$80,000
on the northern red circle.
That's what he said, $8,000?
Application, yeah, because it's on a brook, so you have to do all
Go to
sorts of
DEP.
additional studies and applications, flooding.
So, because this is the one that has been an issue here for our residents over on Shadow Lawn and anybody who is north of
Right,
Elizabeth.
because they're trying to come out.
They're trying to come out that, it becomes a bit of a problem because they have to walk across the street, go over to Playa, walk in, go down, come back around.
Right.
Are
That
there
one I
any,
agree with.
Greg, is there any,
can we get grants for these
Yeah,
sorts of
very
things
well.
because it's above
That
the
one-
brook? And can it be, you know, are there any like environmental grants or anything that we can look into for
can we check with Millennium on that?
Absolutely.
Let's steer Millennium that way.
Pedestrian access. yeah.
pedestrian
Yeah,
access?
there might be some money. That's gonna be a tough sell, but it's out there, I'm sure. It's just where we would fall in the rankings.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, because there is an alternate route. It's not like it's
mm-hmm.
the only choice possible. but-
We have so many walkers, it's close to the park.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's an alternate route, but it's not a safe alternate route.
Well,
That's
we
the
won't mention the
problem.
alternate route then
Right.
when we do the application, but,
Right.
yeah. No, it's
So-
certainly something we should have done. Southern one
You said
is-
100?
No, that one is probably
30.
15 on the high side.
Okay.
So probably 10,000 but for the southern.
So we're definitely doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the other one, Dave, if you could check with Millennium on any potential grants for that.
Yeah, Greg
Yeah.
and I will sort
Right,
of with them.
that'd be great, because they're on again for tonight, so let's
Yeah.
do that. Thank you. Any other questions on that road piece?
And I guess what we'll do with respect to the trash rack on the west side of that major, we'll just wait till we get the funding. We'll do that all at once instead of going with 2 applications to DEP. That'd make it easier. Okay. Next one I have, I'll just kind of skip this one as long as we're in the show and tell thing. I just want to give you a copy of the plan. This is the sketch for the golf simulator. It's coming down to, we're finalizing this. Kind of worked out nicely. There's 4 bays, golf bays, a couple bathrooms and office. and a lounge in the backside for parties and whatever. But came out nicely. I think Recreation's quite happy with it, and we should be getting this out to bid. I think the funding source is gonna be approved through this month, and then we'll get this out to bid in February.
How are we gonna advertise this business once we get it? Just gonna word of mouth it, or?
I don't know, it's,
No, Mike has
Recreation.
he has a
Mike's got a
marketing-
plan?
He's got a marketing plan.
All right.
yeah, he's pretty good at that,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
That's great. What's going on in your mind?
okay,
What's going on in your mind?
talking about 21 road program, the final assessments will be mailed out into January, so that one is complete. We're just waiting, didn't want to send all the assessments out at one time, overload Jesse.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Next week.
yeah. Next item is the 5G system. We've been talking about this for a while. One thing I'd recommend now, the map is kind of there. I'm talking to Matt about it. I would probably recommend that we have MuniSite come in and give you a little presentation, maybe next workshop. Give them like 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of.
This is the dedicated poll thing?
They would be the people who own the poles, and everybody would have to lease space from them. That gives us the opportunity to have uniform poles in the spaces that we want them, instead of having 3 sets of poles. It'd be a big fight. I think we could get by not having 3 sets of poles no matter who owned them, but it just gets into a fight that, you can go on a Verizon pole. The big difference that we've seen, like I've told you before, I've been in kind of heavy meetings up in Seabright with this, with both the attorneys from both operations. The final kind of pole locations and pole design, MuniSite seems to be totally contained inside. They can put 3 people in it. Antennas are internal. Verizon's pole, you can put 3 people in it, but their antennas at the top are outside. So you have the whip look at the top. So that's the difference there. Obviously, you have the personalities. The legal team from Verizon is kind of saying, we don't want to be dictated to what we got to do. And that's, but from my understanding, the technical people on both sides are in agreement that they can all go in the same poles. But the nice thing is, we found out that the pole heights only have to be 42 to 45 feet high for 3 carriers, and they can space about 500 to 700 feet. So it's kind of where we wanted to be that way. We didn't want 90-foot poles like they were originally talking about. But I think it would probably be in everybody's best interest if you kind of listen to them, give you the spiel, because I'm sure Verizon's gonna come in and tell you that we don't like this, and then at least you have the background from both of them.
And it's our decision?
Yep. Yeah, because you're giving it, this is space in the right of way. MuniSite would like an agreement to give them the right to put all the poles in the right of way whenever somebody like a Verizon or AT&T needs a pole, because MuniSite is not a utility. They're not a carrier, they're just gonna facilitate the pole and lease it out. So that's kind of the give and take on it.
And I know I asked this before, and I didn't write the answer down, so do we get money from either of them?
When I asked
You saw me shaking your head,
I
you
asked
knew
this
the question
because
already.
you asked me that one, so I asked it at the meeting up there.
Okay.
Yes, per carrier, you can, per the state FCC, or federal FCC, and the state is also attuned to it, you can charge each carrier that's in the pole $270 a year
Per poll.
per pole. So you kind of, it's not a lot of money, but
How
if
many
you have
do
3
we
carriers-
see coming in?
I forget the exact number. I think it was in the 80s, to do the whole
It's a good
town.
amount of money.
Yeah, on an annual basis. So it's something, not that it's a lot of money, but it's something, I guess. But that was all
And there's
set,
no
I guess, by
worry
the state.
about somebody else coming in, like I know Verizon and AT&T or whoever, we don't have to worry about
Well, that-
boxing somebody out.
No, that would be the glory, because really the MuniSite, not that I want to be a proponent of MuniSite, it's just that what they're offering is they would control the poles as AT&T or Verizon needed a pole. Like say Verizon came and said, hey, we want to put a pole in town, okay, well, we've already given this authority to MuniSite to dictate the locations for us, which we already approved. So you have to go to them and they'll put a pole in where they need them. So
So
they're
is-
not going to build the whole town, they're only going to build them as Verizon or AT&T need them.
Is there another competitor to MuniSite?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Wow.
See, one of the things that came out of the meeting, which is what we were talking about, is MuniSite has kind of offered to say that one of the advantages of using them is, let's say Verizon comes in and says, we can't put it on that pole because our coverage area doesn't work. Well, we don't have anybody with the expertise other than somebody from Verizon or AT&T that can refute that, where MuniSite does. So they said that's a service they could provide, but not that that's a selling point, But that's how they can kind of tell you, they can tell the poles are gonna work, because they can fight with the Verizon people to say, our pole location will give you the coverage you need. So that, but, not that that's a selling point, but it's just something that they will throw out there to say it's an advantage by using this.
So back to the dollars and cents, so we can charge $270 per carrier?
Per carrier,
Per
each
carrier
pole.
per pole, okay, so whatever that is, 600, say the 840.
Yeah.
About
So-
21,000 for the 80 poles.
So, is there a cost to us? This is, so they're getting, Muni's getting money from Verizon,
They lease the
T-Mobile.
space to each of the carriers, yeah. That's where they make, that's why they're in it, that's how they make
Right,
their,
right,
yeah.
okay.
But yeah, the only thing that the council has to do is give the authority to put them in the right of way.
And the beautification, like around it.
Right. Well, there wouldn't be any, it would just be a pole in the grass, be a pole with the grass, everything is internal to this.
Okay.
It's kind of nice, because one of the things we just had happen with, Verizon comes in, they're trying to put things on existing poles, and as long as there's no ground equipment, they're kind of getting away with it, because there's no coverage in the area, but there's gonna come a point in time where they want to put cabinets on the ground, and we're gonna say, no, you can't, because this is all supposed to go in for our new ordinance, and these poles that you're supposed to be building, and they're all supposed to be enclosed. So that will be coming as soon as they get closer to
You would
this
think
time.
they'd want it enclosed.
But it's cheaper for them to use it on an
Raining.
existing pole.
Huh.
You know, if you get, because it's, they just want to attach equipment to it, attach a tent up, and they're done.
Right.
But, we're getting to the point they can't do that anymore either. There's no exterior cabinets allowed. So,
Okay.
but if you want, I'll invite them in, or me and Dave can invite them in to come in for the next council meeting, give you a little presentation. I think it would be beneficial for you.
That would be good.
Okay. Okay, 1001 Wickapecka, which is the golf simulator. We've got the next progress meeting is next week. They're just looking for colors. We're gonna come in and talk to Mike about colors, so we're pretty well done with that. Getting ready to put that out the bid once the money's available. That's just kind of a follow-up to the picture I gave you. South Edgemere bulkhead. JCP&L was supposed to move the utility lines today. As of 1 o'clock today, they did not. So I'll give them a call tomorrow, see when they're planning on doing that. But once they get done, the other two utilities, Verizon and the cable service, are right behind them to move their stuff, and our contractor's ready to go. Everybody thought this will happen by the end of January, so we're kind of still in that ballpark, as soon as I get our JCP out of the way. Pond dredging, the soil reuse plan's kind of ongoing. Our guy's talking to the state. The only thing I'm thinking there is we may look at breaking that into 3 separate pieces, like an ABC of phase 1, 2, 3, only because it would probably make it easier from a lot of points of view. One, the applications would be easier at state, one merge. But the big thing is, I kind of want to separate it out permit-wise, because if it gets too big for the county to do all 3 at once, I don't know how, I don't want to go back and say, we're only going to do 1 phase of this project and have to, the permit would expire for the other one. I think we break it into 3 pieces, we can handle them 3 different ways.
You mean for each different area?
Yeah.
3 pieces, like
Each
firemen's?
pond will be a phase.
Each pond.
Yeah, and then we can do all 3 at the same time if mosquito control commissions are available, but I think it would identify the 3 and would be easier to separate them out.
So that's just like a technical term in terms
Yeah,
of?
well, I didn't want the soils guy or LSRP to merge all 3 ponds together and mix all the dirt at one time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because if it gets so big, we won't be able to do any of it.
But you could possibly do it time-wise, do them on the same, like subsequent
Yeah,
days?
well, I plan on doing them all at the same time anyway.
Mhm.
And just in the event the money gets to the point we have to pay for something,
Mhm.
we wouldn't be able to do all of it at once. So we could start with one, get it going until we find money for the other. At least we can get something going.
Hmm.
But if we have it all in one basket and we lose that ability because we need money, we're gonna lose all of them.
Mhm.
So at least we can kind of pick and choose which one we want to do first. Obviously, I'll do the one that's the easiest and the cheapest right down the Colonial Terrace, because we're trucking it right onto the golf course. And then Fireman's Pond and Snell's Pond afterward. But I think that would be beneficial to us.
Okay, good. And still target date of this fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. Okay, Adams Avenue, I think we just got those deeds back for that, or that's Gates Avenue. Gates Avenue where, yeah, Adams Avenue, I know the vacation on Adams, I think, those were all done by my office. I don't know if you got those, but we had like 40 things floating around, but I guess those will surface eventually too. 1515 Logan, we got the application prepared, plans are done, they were done. Matt's gonna go through the application, we're gonna get that submitted for the February planning board meeting, which I think is on the table. We'll try to get that in as soon as possible. And then I already told you, the TTF funding we got this year was for the sidewalk on the north side of Deal Road from Carberry up to Logan. That's gonna go in. I think we're gonna probably, from a funding point of view, have to wait. I'll have to talk to Ricky, but I'm sure he doesn't have any engineering money, because we have to get that one started now, if we have engineering money available.
Awesome, maybe we can
Okay.
program it in this
Yeah,
budget.
because that one we could get going, have that one done early spring, because that's gonna be separate from the road program.
That was Carberry?
Yeah, we're gonna go from, it was on Deal Road, but it's gonna go from Carberry to,
Got it right.
no.
Printed out the wrong one.
Yeah, you printed up the wrong
Talking about
one.
the sidewalks?
Carberry to,
Oh, you're in, yeah.
It's Carberry
Yeah,
to
the other
Bound, right?
You printed-
Bound, thank you, Bound.
That's the
Oh,
old
Bound.
ones.
The other one.
Those are the old ones, yeah.
Bound.
Thank
Yeah, the Bound.
Carberry.
And when's that gonna
Deal.
get done?
That's
Deal,
gonna be, well,
Carberry
if there's
to
money
Okay.
available in it for engineering, I wanna talk to Ricky, I'm gonna get that out to bid probably within about 6 weeks, and we'll do that for spring. If we have to wait for money until the budget's approved, then it'll probably be done in the fall.
All right, and then what about that second half that's gonna go from Carberry to where the Route 18? Is that pie in the sky, or that's not happening?
I'm gonna put that as an alternate depending on the prices come out.
Yeah.
But it's still only gonna get us to 18, we still don't have the crossing approval from DOT yet,
So, yeah,
but I'll get us there.
so that's funny, because the guy who reached out to me said that actually would work for him. It would help,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it helps because it gets them to that side, up to
Yeah.
that spot.
And then they can play Frogger to get across 18, but it's better than what's the present situation.
Yeah, because it's a slope like that.
Now, it's kind of wet over there. Is that going to be kind of weird putting concrete in that? You know, because that's kind of that, sort of that no man's wooded section over there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put a retaining wall in.
Okay, so you have to put a retaining wall
Like a
up.
3-foot retaining wall, and then
Alright.
we're gonna put, flatten out an area 5 foot wide to put the sidewalk in.
Okay, so that's going to be one of those, we got to
That'll be
see.
an alternate to the project. If we have enough money, we'll do it.
Okay, if not, it has to go,
We'll have to go for another grant somewhere to pedestrian safety thing.
okay, all right.
or put it in our budget?
Or put in our budget. That's gonna be, we'll talk about the price of that when we get to that point. because
Well, when you said retaining wall, it already,
Yeah.
the dollar sign started lighting
Yeah,
up.
It tenfolds the cost per foot, and that, with the retaining wall and sidewalk. If you just do the sidewalk, then add the retaining wall in, it's 10 times more expensive. So,
Great.
Lovely.
it's not that long of an area. I think, my guess would be about 300 feet. So it's not a big wall, but it's, it's expensive enough to where it may push us over the budget. That's why I want to do it as an alternate, because I don't want it to nuke out the whole project. So,
Would we be better off trying to knock that side out first, then go the other way?
no, we can't, because we already told the DOT that we're going that way. That's what the money's for.
Okay.
And they probably wouldn't have given us to it going the other way, because they know we don't have a crossing across 18 yet.
Right.
So, but they obviously know it's coming, that's why we asked for this, so they know it's kind of building.
So if we build a sidewalk to 18, we don't have a permission to go over 18,
Right.
then it's just
Sidewalk to nowhere.
Just like it is now.
be careful.
Yeah, it's like it is now, everybody that's walking across there, but it helps being on that side though, because there's a sidewalk across the bridge on the north side.
Yeah,
So it's just really the 2 ramps.
yeah, that's what the resident was talking about. He's
Yeah.
like, we need that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. The ramps are still the problem, but at least they, but walking across the bridge on the south side is very dangerous because there's no sidewalk. You're actually
Oh, no,
walking
that's-
and traveling.
Yeah, that's bad news over
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this will help that situation.
I mean, either side is bad. Eyeballed it up the other day. It's both ways are
Yeah.
bad. And both ways have an on-ramp and an off-ramp, so.
But unfortunately, it's becoming a well-traveled route.
It is, lot of walking traffic
Yeah.
on that. I saw that last Saturday. That's why I was looking at it even more closely
Yeah.
this time, but that's a tough one to, try to get people over safely. It really is.
Yeah, there's no easy solution there.
Hmm.
Okay, the next one is Bimler traffic study. I'm gonna reach out to the county. We're supposed to set up a meeting. They were supposed to set up a meeting with Asbury Park end of this month to talk about, and this is the whole thing about the light, changing the light down in Asbury Avenue, and I forget what they call it in Asbury Park, but it's the extension of Wecapeco. I think it
Yeah.
changed. I don't remember what it's called in Asbury. So I'll reach out to them and see when that's gonna be scheduled. And we had the next thing, we had some crosswalks we talked about before. We talked about the site plan for the playground was approved, which, I think we said that last meeting. This is the playground at Kepwell closing occurred. I think the playground is scheduled to be installed sometime this spring, in April-ish. The homeowner's supposed to be out in he has 6 months, kind of heard he stated he might be out in 2, so they won't conflict from a space point of view, hopefully. So that's what we're kind of pushing for, to get him out before we get in, but it should work out.
Can we do it with him in?
I already asked him, he gave us his permission that we could do that there. Just I don't want to put any undue stress on the people building, because you're going to be walking a piece of equipment down the driveway, which is only wide enough for the equipment, carrying big equipment to put it in place. And if he has to get out of there, it's going to take a while to walk things down there and unload trucks and stuff. So it'd just be better if he wasn't there and make life easier for everybody.
So what's the target date for the building?
Don't know. It'll be the actual park. It'll function really when the equipment comes in. We don't have a date for the delivery date yet. But I
Am
think
I allowed
it's-
to talk about it or no?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you know the date, yeah. It would help.
I didn't know what I'm allowed to say or not, all right, so now I'm wearing my foundation hat.
You're holding back on us.
So we're gonna do a walkthrough on Monday to do a potential mark out. The reason for that is we changed the ground of the playground to go from chips to coincide with the other parks, so it's gonna be a poured rubber, which is safer, more expensive, but it requires a lot more work because the excavation has to go down 10 inches at a minimum, then poured concrete on top, then the equipment, then the poured rubber. The goal would be to excavate Marchish, to allow the concrete to be poured and then to cure for a long time while the weather is still bananas. The lead time on the equipment right now is 14 to 16 weeks from time of delivery. So we
Time of order.
from time of order.
Order, yeah.
Time of order, sorry. We had added some equipment to what I had requested to the build. We had worked with the Recreation Department, and they had asked for some, sensory equipment to be added to it, so we did. So we added that to our plan, so they're adding that to the proposal also. So as soon as I get the cost proposal, I can pay Where Angels Play, and then they can make the order and set up the delivery date. Where Angels Play has 4 other builds going on before ours. So right now it's tentatively scheduled to cut ribbon and use in September. It's like a 3-day to excavate, pour, 3 days to install the equipment, and then the other stuff. So one of their projects is not fully funded. So that could come out of the queue and bump us up. I wanted April because it's Maya's 10-year anniversary. That's not going to happen. But after Monday, and we invited Mike to come with us to the walkthrough, we'll have a better understanding on when I'll have a new cost estimate, when I can forward fund the project. I'm intending on using a grant that I'm getting towards that as well, so,
Great.
yeah.
Okay, thanks. Next thing I had was Poplar Road. We have the 2 crosswalks we're gonna put in. That is in the 22 Pro program, which was out for bid right now. Just so you know, in case anybody asks. We did not get the funding for Poplar. One gentleman today called me up, he lives on Old Orchard in one development there, and he was just curious whether we were doing Poplar. I said we didn't get funding for it this year, so we'll probably apply next year and get the funding next year. So then he questioned why we didn't get it this year. I said, because we applied for 2 things and they gave us option B, which was the sidewalk on Deal Road.
Where's the crosswalk gonna be?
I have it in my
One
notes.
at
Hold
north
on.
and south.
I could tell you exactly
Yeah,
where it's gonna be.
Greg, you wanna hire him?
Give me a second.
I need to borrow his computer.
Poplar and Willow,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know the other one. Sorry, I only had that one.
Okay.
Damn.
Rob, you
I thought I was good. I had one.
Come on.
I'll bring him next time. There's one at the northern end and one at the southern end. Here's a nice loop, that's what they're kind of looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing I just want to make you aware of, the DEP has passed a new regulation. They're calling it a wood chipping facility and leaf compost. This is, remember I talked to you before about the problems we were having with the DEP at the leaf composting site, because solid waste was saying you couldn't put any stormwater facility on the place because you don't want water or leaves because they float away. And then stormwater was saying you have to put a water quality basin at the bottom of the slope to handle any runoff. So we were arguing over this for about 5 or 6 years, and this is what they've come up with. And we are now going to need to go for this wood chipping facility permit, which is rather expensive. A lot of things, a lot of testing is going to be required on a quarterly basis. If that doesn't pass, all right. If that doesn't pass on the quarterly basis, then you have to go to a monthly basis. One of the things I'm looking into is The regulations used to have a facility that if you did less than 7,000 cubic yards at the facility, you were an exempt facility, which means you didn't have to comply with any of their facility requirements. I don't know if they've eliminated that with this new rule. It's kind of tough to dig through that. But if that's the case, then I will probably go back to my recommendation I made a while back, is to split the facility into two. Because we do a maximum of 9,000 cubic yards a year. If we broke it into two, we could put half of it at Cindy Lane, half here. I mean, one of the negatives to that was we'd have to buy another Scarab, which was a couple $100,000, but that would far save us money from the annual testing, quarterly testing we're gonna have to do, plus all the permitting we're gonna be responsible for.
Shipping it out to another district that has
Yeah,
it?
is there another way, like a shared
Or
service
that would be the
option?
thing is, you know, take.
Other districts can come in maybe and,
Well-
Recharge them?
Well, what we could do is you just take the 7,000 yards at that facility. After that, we sell it, you know, we pay to get rid of it at Petrocelli's or Mazza. You know, that's another option. We can analyze the cost of doing that. But
are
there's,
there other towns that have these facilities? that-
no. There's a couple of towns that have facilities, but the only two, from my understanding, that have the problem that we have is us in Middletown. But there are other ones out there that I think are under the 7,000, so they fly under the exemption.
I see, because
So
we have
they
so much.
We have 9,000, yeah.
This is kind of insane, because here you are mulching, seemingly doing something green. We're not making leachate, we're not making toxic stuff into the water system, and yet they're gonna bury us in administrative.
And this is all.
And that money goes where, right?
This facility has been there for.
For what good?
Since the 70s.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cause any problem, but what happens is you get a turnover in the DEP, and these people,
Oh,
new
yeah.
people read the regs, and we have this one stormwater person in our area who read the regs and said, you can't discharge this into the stream corridor, which our site is probably, because Poplar Brook goes through there, it turns maybe about 400 or 500 feet in.
At least, right?
But yeah, it's plenty of time for anything to settle out in there. You can see that the rivulet that it causes from our leaf complex site to the stream corridor is non-existent. That's how much water doesn't run off this site. I tried to explain that to them. We did all the things to try to avert this in the past. and-
Time-lapse video.
Yeah, but the
Right.
problem is they're just saying water runs off of it, and, you know, that's the rules, and that's, you know, we've been fighting this for 6 years. And eventually, that's how they got around it, because we had a meeting in this room with the 3 different pieces of DEP, and here arguing with, I got them arguing with themselves because their rules didn't work. So now they have rules that kind of work. So, but I'm gonna investigate it. It's probably not gonna take full effect for another month or so, but I know this, the lady was, you know, inspecting our site is hot after us because we were always averting this because her rules were screwed up. So, but I would think we're probably gonna have to have this done sometime by summer. We'll have to have the application somewhat prepared and ready to be submitted. And it requires us to build a detention basin on the facility.
A lot.
Yeah.
Is there any other option to, I mean, can we look, I mean, I guess you've looked at other options to,
Well, the problem is the volume.
Right.
If we get under
to
that
reduce the
volume,
volume?
yeah,
I mean,
we're-
can we look at other options to reduce the volume to keep us under that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like Eatontown has that, compost facility, right? That outdoor, like it's like a
They-
fenced in, it's
yeah.
like near the
I think
animal.
they're probably under,
Yeah,
they're probably under the 7,000.
Yeah.
And I think taking any extra in there, we can ask them, but I think taking any extra puts them in jeopardy. But, yeah,
I mean,
we'll investigate all the possibilities, but I want to first see if I can get under the 7,000, because that at least gives us a little wiggle room. And then we'll investigate.
Buys
the
us a
cost
year
of-
at least, right?
Yeah, well, but, you know, maybe we don't even go that way, but at least we know that, have that option to get rid of, you know, doing this crazy permit, spend all that money for nothing.
right. I mean, is it all coming from all the trees we're cutting down?
Yeah, well, no, if we keep cutting the trees down, we won't have any leaves.
We need to cut more, Margie.
More trees, oh, okay.
More trees, less leaves.
There we go. We have too many trees in town now.
Yeah, we gotta take that percentage from 40 to 30, we'll be in good shape. But there have been years in the past that, you know, for some whatever reason, we've only had 6,800 cubic yards of leaves. So, you know, it's a wild card what we get. I don't know why there's a difference of that volume, but that's what we're faced with.
Just tell everyone to plant pine trees, and you won't have any leaves.
There you go.
There you go.
But
And
you
you
still
got
gotta
plenty
cut
of
the
pine
other
needles.
tree down, Jack.
Believe me.
You still gotta cut the other tree down.
So, not to subvert the DEP, because we want to be good, but this doesn't make, is what you're saying, it doesn't make sense.
No, this thing has been there for 50 years.
Right.
And it hasn't caused one iota of environmental problem downstream. Now they're saying it does.
is this just us, or that, you said this
No,
is statewide,
this
so,
is
but they're
statewide.
picking on,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's
We
got it.
audit
is-
their reports that say there is a problem? Prove it.
Well, I'm sure they have all sorts of, and it has to do with the suspended solids that go out in the water.
The bear.
And
Well, they're poking us pretty hard.
Yeah, it would cost us a lot of money to do that too, because you'd have to be out there testing it in the
FOIA,
rain.
FOIA request.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier just to eliminate,
No.
reduce the volume, and go under the small facility permit.
Light them on fire like they do in the Midwest.
Yeah, and make people
We'll
compost
have a
them on
day,
their own
we'll have a
process.
day, a burn day.
People just burn their leaves on their front lawn. It's the craziest thing you ever seen.
Well,
Sounds like a
that
holiday.
second option, if that does come to it, maybe we do discount compost.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we could look
Compost
at,
It's on site, everybody puts them in their own compost
yeah.
and solves that problem, yeah.
Yeah.
You give me a comp, I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I don't know what they
I mean,
cost, but.
I think there are
They'll
people,
say
I mean, there's
that's
other towns that do have like a
There's
sign
300,
up.
there's 300
Or-
compost facilities in the
Yeah.
state, by town, municipal
Mm-hmm.
owned. So that's, more than half of the municipalities in the state have them.
I think we should definitely look into that.
I don't know how many.
Why don't we start?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
Facility like
definitely,
E-Town.
yeah, definitely,
Will that reduce the number over there, no? They'll just count that.
Yeah, well, but if it was a separate facility, that would count.
well, separate facility.
That's what I'm saying.
Then people
Yeah.
can bring their, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that's it.
I like it.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know how you
someday.
possibly
And people
bring
would
the
like
leaves
that
up.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
No, there's
mean?
people that call my
Yeah,
office about asking
exactly.
about that, because we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
looking at,
So you're saying bring the compost to that, after they compost it, then we get rid of their compost there?
yeah, when we.
People
we-
will
I
use
think
it.
like
People will come
E-Town,
and
we-
use it.
We
For
have
their
that's-
gardens.
Yeah.
No, we
You don't have
do
to
that
pay
now.
for back.
Don't they do that?
We do that
We
now.
Oh,
do that
yeah,
now.
I go there, or
Yeah.
have gone
We
there.
do that now, but the problem is we still have the 9,000 square cubic yards of leaves. So the only way to get rid of it is everybody did their own composting on their property and used it around their own house.
Oh,
That-
instead of bringing it to a.
Right, that would eliminate us
But what if we,
handling.
what if we made a second facility?
That's what I'm
Down
recommending.
my house?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that small facility still exists, which I think it does, I just gotta confirm it.
And then we gotta find a location.
Well, we could put it Cindy Lane.
We do, okay, okay. There we
And
go.
that's even the piece that we're not, that's the.
Beyond the
beyond-
wetlands and
Yeah,
everything.
that would be in the
Okay.
wetland contaminated area, which we're already using for that now.
Yep. Right. Okay, I like it.
Okay,
Cool.
all right, that's all I have.
Thank you,
It's
Greg.
only 3 pages, huh?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, wait, does that mean you have questions for him?
Well, I gotta check my yellows out. How are the police doing with the striping?
They're accumulating them. We're gonna, that'll be something we do in the spring.
Okay,
They're accumulating where they feel that we need center lines and stop bars.
okay,
Their traffic units doing that.
got it. Hold, please. 15. Phase 3 of the, or phase 4, I lost track, of the JPP trails? Joe Pelleggi.
That we're gonna probably design this spring
Okay.
and we put it in for the budgeting, or no, they've done budgeting. I just gotta go through Ricky, make sure there's enough money left in the open space fund, which I'm sure there is. But I just maybe run it by him, and then in the springtime, we'll put out the 4th phase.
Got it.
Easy, we just spent 2 million out of that.
Yeah, that's why I wanna make sure it's,
Are we on track for the speed humps?
As far as I know.
yes. We're gonna buy those in the spring. The public works, we're gonna buy them, and then we're gonna put those in late spring. So those still are on track.
And who's installing them?
DPW,
They are.
yeah.
Yes, because if I recall correctly, there was a huge disparity in them being installed compared to us
Yes,
installing them.
Yes.
We're on track for the bike lanes? Part of the stripe, is that part of this, that's part of a separate striping, or is that
Yeah,
part of the overall?
That's a separate project.
Okay.
That will be in the spring also.
Okay. And then the bike lane on Roller and Rose?
The trail,
Trail, sorry.
that's part of the 22
Let me
program,
change this.
paving of that.
Thank you. Hold on, almost done, Greg. Pick-a-pecky went over, crosswalk at Monmouth. Any updates on the crosswalk at Monmouth and South Lincoln?
No, remember, the county said they're gonna study it this summer.
Summer, you
Because
did
they
say
want
that.
all the traffic
Yep.
to be back.
So
Because right now, if
that's-
they did it, it wouldn't be a true study.
Can
Yeah,
you
that-
put that one in red?
No, it's actually yellow's Greg.
Yellow's Greg.
Is that amber or yellow?
Oh, I thought they were like, I gotta stop, I gotta
Me too,
stop.
No,
it's
no,
like,
no.
we're late
I'm like,
on
put that
answering
in
that.
red, so you can stop asking.
No, I cross out. I have crossouts. I'm good, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Everybody's got a color, so we know what we're doing. Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah.
It works, right?
Mary,
When you
it
told me to
works.
organize it by color.
Police, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Wait,
Thanks,
before
Thanks,
Greg-
Greg.
Okay.
Before Greg goes, can we ask him about the street opening
Go
permit
for it.
request?
No.
31 Seward?
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
yes.
I know.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Sorry.
so 31 Seward, we have an issue. We literally just paved this road like 5 minutes ago. And there is a resident at 31 Seward that is requesting that they can cut into the road so they can convert their home from oil to gas. There's a letter that was sent.
Do you have the receipt?
It was denied
Oh,
by our building department.
Public Works.
I mean from Public Works. And now it's
The road's
in
under-
our hands. So
I had a question on it.
we've had this issue come up before. The remedy to this, if I'm not mistaken, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the homeowner does want to do this and they're, really pushing for it, we would allow it, but they would have to pave 100 feet so that the
Both
road.
sides.
Both sides,
So 200 feet minimum,
correct.
curb
go
to
ahead.
curb.
My question was, they love the paving, I just happen to know this person. Love the job. They were notified of the paving. Were they ever notified at the paving, at the time that the paving was to be conducted, that they would be restricted for 7 years to do anything on the road? I think that is their main hangup.
That should be in the ordinance.
It's
in
a
our
it's a
ordinance.
town ordinance.
Is it provided to them at the time?
No.
No,
So they would have to know that there's an ordinance on that? Then that's shame on us, I think.
no, come on, you can't let everybody know every ordinance.
No,
Because
just say, please look at the ordinance that's gonna govern, or we're paving, and guess what? We can't cut into the street for 7 years.
I think.
That's
what-
big
but the-
implications.
I-
I know that because my dad's a builder, so I would know that if he's paving,
Yeah.
we're not touching that
So
street.
you're saying like when you notify the
We should put it in
everybody,
the letter.
just have a
Greg
little
and I were-
attachment.
Greg and I
Yeah.
were just talking about
Yeah.
that.
Problem.
I think going forward, that's a really good idea.
I think that's her
I
headache.
assume
She knew
that
the
it
paving
was-
was happening. She
Okay.
didn't know the implication of that paving, other
Right.
than it being
I
pretty.
had
Five.
assumed that was part of
It's
it.
5 years.
5.
We're paving and therefore,
And if she was
These are the
notified, then too
implications.
bad, so sad.
I mean, how many other ordinances would be relevant to that? Just that one ordinance, Okay.
So
See, the
can we
problem
look
we have-
into changing that letter moving forward with the
Yeah.
road program?
The problem that we have.
Just add it in there.
Just to kind of add a caveat to that, not that it solves this problem, but all the other problems that we've had, and this is probably the fourth in the last 3 or 4 years, everybody else was, when we give the notice, they bought the house after the notice went out.
That's
So
the
they're,
issue.
they're
So-
subject to something they didn't even know about.
Right.
That's the bigger problem, because they
Yeah.
didn't even know the project was happening. They buy the house, yeah, I'm gonna do all this, this, and this, and all of a sudden, hey, you guys are paving the road. And by then, when they were fully aware of paving the road, but they couldn't get all their utilities lined up before we paved the road.
Gotcha.
We tried to delay it as long
Yeah,
as
that
possible.
stinks even more.
That's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
that's-
anybody-
And that's usually been the problem.
That's the problem.
That's what happened on Bound, that was
Yeah.
that big case that we
Yeah.
took care
And
of.
they're gonna
Bound,
be
we had a
getting the
couple on
bill
Whale
next
Pond.
week. This
You know,
is the
it was
letter
just-
for the
it's-
final
That's the
assessment
bigger problem,
next
There's-
week.
I don't know the
So they're gonna
solution
be
to that.
paying for
So
what,
when
that they're
what's
gonna
his
have to
name,
repay for if they wanna do it.
Epstein did his
Oh.
on Whale Pond. He didn't
Kelly, you
do
wanna
100
go
by
in and
100.
let them know?
No, I don't. You think
No,
I'm a
he would
bitch?
just-
She's, no.
He got,
She's
that was
awesome.
kind, he got
I
that
love
permit
her,
without
but, you know,
anybody knowing
But
it
anyway,
was
just,
under moratorium.
ooh.
So he got that
That's gonna
permit.
hurt.
No, he came here.
But they-
Did he?
He absolutely
Yeah,
came
well,
here.
that was
it was-
when I first started.
It was before we had the
Oh.
100,
Sorry.
that was the solution they came
She
up
knows
with.
I love her.
This kind
Oh,
of-
after?
Yeah, it was after.
I mean, he fixed it good. It looks
Yeah.
good now.
Yeah.
It's not
Now.
100 by 100, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
much better than it was.
But you'll
Look-
see in the future where the pothole starts is right around that 2 foot by 4 foot square.
Right?
I think that I have to agree with Greg on this. I mean, the only way that we would, and me as a homeowner, I mean, I'm not saying that the person who wrote the letter is wrong by, bringing this up and saying that it's not there, but if I had just had my road paved, I don't think I'd want to cut into my own road because it looks so nice when it's done. So.
Plus the cost, the
Yeah,
associated cost.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, I think that we have to go with your recommendation. If they want to open it, it's going to have to be paved to minimum of 200 feet.
Curb to curb, yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion. There's
Even
five
if they're
of
only
us
on
here.
half their side of the road, we still make them go, because we
Yep.
don't want any
Gaps.
cuts in that road, any potholes for 200 foot length. And we'll deal with the two
Yeah.
joints
David?
2 feet apart.
It's not the first time we've dealt with this, I gotta say I'm going with John on this.
No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
There is precedence, and you
Yeah.
brought up a perfect reason. You know, for people who buy after the fact, they're also negatively impacted.
And that's
Even
one
if
of the
that
problems.
that homeowner was notified, the second one is not. No, I'm fine with writing it.
Okay, Marge, good?
But we'll
Rob?
change. Yeah,
But I would
no,
like to
absolutely.
change moving
Change,
forward.
I agree.
No,
This is
no,
a
let's
courtesy
add that into it.
notification.
Yeah.
We discussed
You know, I had
that.
assumed that was part of the letter. I
How
guess I
far
never
in
saw
advance does that letter go out?
That one,
Well,
That's
this is,
the other
that was the
thing.
20, oh, this one went out in, this was for the 2020 road program. The first
I
letter
do all
went
the
out
block locations.
June 11th, 21.
Because these are.
Oh, okay, so what I'm saying,
So a year ahead of time.
yeah, the only,
Just letting them know what's going to happen.
yeah, the only thing I
We're
would be
getting what the
concerned
final
about is the
cost is.
length of time, but that's more than enough time for someone to plan to get a utility put in or get
Yeah.
a line cut, so.
Yeah, the first letter went out June 11th, 21.
There was other circumstance.
No, I'm saying us looking at the letter moving forward, I wanna make sure that there's enough
Yeah.
lead time for somebody to actually make that decision. If they want
Well, they
to
get plenty of
do a
time.
conversion, they've got enough lead, but this is more than enough lead time.
And also I was thinking about, one of the things I would recommend we do, and we kind of been talking about this with Tracy a little bit, is putting a little engineering blurb or engineering projects thing on the website and just make that a constant. Just be aware that when your road is paved, there's a 5-year moratorium. No guarantee everybody's gonna read it, because that is the other problem we have. I never got the notice, I didn't know, even if they're living there. You know, it's just, then we go back.
We
through the
could
record.
also shoot it on the spring newsletter too, you know,
Yeah,
road
just-
program is, you know,
How
coming
many times
up,
we wanna say
you
it, but
know.
it's, I think it would just help to just repound it back
Just
home.
reinforce it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get a person like this and their oil heater breaks, and that's probably what the situation was here. It's time to change. You're not gonna fix the oil heater,
Reinvest,
then
right.
2 years later put a gas one in, or 5 years later. They wanna do it now, and they probably knew. They're just, like I say, just kinda saying they didn't know, but either way, it's a problem for us.
I mean, there are alternatives to oil and gas. You can put in a heat pump, there's all other kinds.
I'll take my, gas line out now, take my gas stove out.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe we
Yeah,
should do a
stove's gotta go.
checklist,
Yeah,
like
that's the
before you
problem.
cut
Yeah,
into the
Gas line
road.
in.
You know, have you considered other alternative forms of heating?
Maybe we should send it out.
What do you think?
Geothermal.
I
Yeah.
can't believe they still have it. They're using.
All right, any other questions for Greg? All right, thank you, Greg,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Got one.
Oh.
I got one.
Okay.
You wanna go to them, or you want me to ask this real quick?
No, ask that.
So, no, Councilwoman Terry had brought up the JCP&L utility pool that's going
Oh,
underground.
thank you.
And I don't, my experience with that was JCP&L throws it back on the town. Basically, you gotta pay for them to do a whole study of it. And then they tell you how much it's gonna be, and I'm telling you, this is like 6,
Astronomical.
7 figures.
For what?
To take
I was
the
talking about
utility
getting rid of the
pole
utility
underground
lines,
Well,
and
burying
run
them.
the-
It's a good question,
But
because it
just
comes
the
up.
study
People-
alone
I remember
is-
when
The study will
people ask
probably
you.
be thousands of dollars.
Right.
Depending on the scope is gonna depend on that.
Right.
But I mean, if we're talking all from 35,
Yeah. What other towns have done it or are doing it?
I just
I
had
did
experience
this in
in a
Little
prior
Silver.
employment.
Little
I
Silver?
did this in Little Silver down Main Street to get rid of all the poles on Main Street about 15 years ago. And
Was
they
it the same
charged-
process?
Same process. They charged us $250,000 15 years ago. because of-
study?
No,
And-
for the whole project.
Oh, but just on
But
Main
we-
Street, just on
Yeah.
Main
Little
Street.
Silver.
That's
Only
what
Little
1,500
Silver. Small
1,500
town.
feet.
I'm telling you, you're in the
And it
millions
was,
here.
Yeah.
that's the second part of
Yeah.
it. We wanted to put
Millions.
2 pieces
Yeah, way more
underground.
than
The
that.
first piece was
Lots
about
of millions.
That's what I'm saying.
250,000. We had to dig the holes, we had to put all the lines in, and they just pulled the wires, and then we had to condemn a piece of property, put the transformers on. The second part of the project was to go down to
Wow.
Second Street. That was $1 million.
Yep.
And that was only about 700 feet.
Wow.
So just to do the town area would have cost us $1.5 million 15 years ago.
Oh my God.
So new
I'm
construction,
telling you.
Yeah.
we can dictate
Right,
underground.
Right, and I think we do, that's in the ordinance. that we want.
When transformers and stuff get hit and poles go down, does that give us any leeway to say no, or they just have to replace what was there?
They have to replace it.
Wow, that really
Because the problem with putting it
stinks.
underground is, you're talking, it goes from transformer to transformer, is the bank
The
you have to put
dredging and-
underground. So just because one pole gets hit, you'd have to go to the next one before they could put that stretch underground. And it's quite costly, and, just to move this pole out here, costs us $70,000 when we put the driveway location in, move the driveway over.
JCP&L has no competition, huh?
No, I wish they did. I wish they did. Look how long it's taken them to move those lines over on South Edgemere. It's been probably 9 months.
That's
that we've asked them to
unfortunate.
move
It's
them.
such an eyesore.
Yeah,
It would make such a huge improvement.
yeah. no question.
Most
And-
towns are thinking, because when I was in Bradley Beach, they wanted to do that.
They said
doing
no
Main
too after
Street.
seeing it?
Well,
after
after
the
they saw
cost?
the numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it makes, you know, especially with a business downtown district, it makes it look very nice without any
Yeah.
poles. up.
Sure.
Right.
You know, you just have the decorative light poles, so it's nice. Same thing in all the neighborhoods, if we did it, it would be nice decorative, but.
Well, how about the
cost is-
decorative light poles?
In this particular area of town? Like which,
Like, no, I'm just thinking 35, even if the
Oh,
first
on
start was
35.
from Deal to West Park, or from West Park to Industrial, or Sunset. Like, say we took like one little block and just made nicer poles instead of those disgusting,
Instead of the Cobra heads.
right,
Yeah,
like,
no, they're out there. I mean, that's, a lot of towns have done it, like I say, in the downtown business district area. There's a lot of them around.
so that would not be
They
as
would-
expensive.
No, that would probably be.
Is that on
each
us or the
pole-
state?
Yeah, that would be on us. Each
Well,
pole would
where you
probably run
doing
you.
it?
Huh?
35, Route
Would the state
35.
have to be involved?
We-
with
Well,
it?
you'd have to get permission.
We'd have to get their
Permission?
permission,
That's
but
what
we
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
pay for the poles.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But the
Or
poles
the
would probably
elec-
run
the
you about $4,000 or
electric, too.
$5,000 themselves. Electric would already be there, we'd only put them in the same location.
But it would be
Well,
able to
depends on
handle
what
the
bulbs
lights
you use
and
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
the lines.
Wouldn't be cheap.
It's a project we could potentially look at.
Yeah, I
to
think
start
we-
to work
yeah.
on
Because-
35.
yeah.
Something, those
I
things
know.
are hideous.
For
I think the
lights,
bigger
it's
thing
easier.
is like redevelopment
Yeah,
of that
That's right,
whole,
trying to
you
know,
get rid of poles.
getting the empty,
Could we do it,
I mean, half the money out of the whole town.
Table, so.
Would
we're
we-
not worried about-
would we,
Yeah, 'cause that's-
Erosion.
that's- Yeah.
could we,
Gotta
could a
make sure
planning or
that
zoning
it's
board
not, you know,
require it
water and it just
for development on
washes
35
the water and
individual,
electricity.
individual units? So if somebody.
Underground?
No, the
The
decorative.
poles.
Oh, yeah. Planning board can require any kind of modification to a site plan, we can make them change along their frontage as an onsite.
Let's get it
Dave,
started.
next,
Yeah,
next
take a
meeting
food down.
on the agenda for work session, why don't we put on there a discussion about the lights so we can move the meeting a little bit?
Something
good.
pretty, you know,
We
and then
can
bring
bring that
about
up. There's a
cobblestone
few other
sidewalks
questions
and
I have, but I don't wanna-
Put a
curbs.
township standard pole that you
Move.
like.
Get rid of that stuff
that
down
would
the
be very
middle,
nice
make
thing.
something nice.
We have
I know,
anything else
it's
for
true.
Greg?
Before
No, I
these
see.
overbook costs,
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Thank you.
My
Appreciate it.
structural guy, with the holidays and all.
you
we'll get to
mentioned
it.
an $8,000-ish
Yeah.
from DEP.
Well,
If you bulldoze that, the DEP's involved.
if I bulldoze the DEP's involved? They
Keep that in
wouldn't,
mind as
they wouldn't be involved. They would love for me to get rid of that structure.
the concrete.
The concrete and the, if you're taking something out and refurbishing it back to its natural condition, that's what they kind of wanted us to do when we turned it into Blue Acres. But we petitioned to let them leave that for a park environment, but it never came to
The
fruition.
park is beautiful. If you can
Wow.
cost it out in a logical way, the park is beautiful.
It's kind of overgrown and there's no parking. I don't know where the beauty comes from, but I will figure out what it costs to refurbish it.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay.
Any questions for Greg before he goes? Council?
Nope, thank you.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Go around the horn real quick. Rob, you have anything real?
I have,
Wait, David.
Yeah, I got the deer study.
Okay.
that was one on my
Yep.
list. Thank
So
you.
I just wanted to report back, we had Raritan Valley Community College Center for Environmental Studies conducted the infrared surveys of the
I read it.
white-tailed deer by drone to obtain estimates of local deer population size at Joe Palea and Welch Park. And I do want to put an asterisk here because the coaster only picked up Joe Palea Park, but it was both parks.
I told them both parks.
But that's why I said they only picked up one, so I
Oh.
want to just make sure everybody
Okay.
knows that. Surveys were conducted on December 21st, 2022. This survey provides a conservative estimate of the deer population for the 2023 growing season. The survey area included Joe Palea, Wells Park, and the suburban land buffering the two parks east of Route 35, which totaled 2.61 miles. A total of 274 deer were observed in the 2.61 mile total survey area. The overall deer density in the township amounted to 105 deer per mile. So that is where we are.
And that's 10
Um,
times the amount that's recommended
Yep.
to sustain the land
Safely.
safely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And what
so
about-
10
Can
times
you
the
repeat
amount.
that again?
Real quick, let me just, they said,
10.5
per
times
mile.
percent.
they said their
10
data
times.
suggests that the deer management is needed across the survey area and likely across the township as a whole in order to improve the ecosystem integrity of Ocean Township's natural lands in the future, i.e. especially Palea Park, because we know that the park is basically dying, for lack of a better word. Given that our survey area covered about 20% of the township, the total number of deer within Ocean Township would amount to 1,370 deer, assuming densities were relatively constant throughout the municipality.
They also did the study at the lowest point of the population. They said it would surge 50 to
Yeah,
100
they did it
times,
before-
during the
They did it before the
May
birthing-
and
birthing.
September. So this is like the lowest number.
What do they make, 1 or 2 times a year? They made a lot, don't
Yeah,
they?
we do.
So next step is to take that and submit it to DEP?
Yes, and we have a couple other items, I
Our
think,
Fish
that
and
goes
Wildlife.
along with this. There's those 10 items.
Yep.
Everything gets packaged together, we send it down there and then see what they say.
Okay, did we get an invoice for the study?
Oh, yeah, it was less than $500.
Really?
It was cheap,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, it was cheap.
Got it on
Nice.
the cheap.
And we got them to add the other park in too for fairly
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, that was the easy part. This is a college, so they
Yeah.
kind of, they get the study and the
Yeah.
data
Yeah.
sets and the students
Students work on it.
participate.
That's good.
We will make a decision this year on
How is this relative to other parts of the state, like Hunterdon County or?
They mentioned in here, there's some areas like, where there's better deer management, but for like this local area, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah.
Eatontown, like the local, but then I think they said like Atlantic Highlands, they have some better, more space and deer management protocols in place. And so their numbers are lower, but there's some information here.
Is it-
Yeah,
Dave,
hit-
once-
I hit the highlights of the,
Yeah.
so if you go in, it's like Councilwoman said.
Are any of our neighbors managing their deer populations? You know, if you drew a circle
Not-
around Ocean
Pulse net.
Township.
Pulse net.
But Dave,
I think
if,
Middletown.
once we
I'm not aware
get
of it.
our
Oh, not
information back,
township, I
which
think it's more
it's,
county.
it's gonna be a while.
Well, and that's why I said, don't make any commitments, say we'll do it this year, because we're in the hands of DEP and
Yeah, I mean-
wildlife.
It's gonna be a while. No, I'm saying that once if we get the information back,
Mhm.
we have to make a decision. But before any decisions are made,
Mhm.
good point that Dave just made. I think that we should get in touch with Tinton Falls, Eatontown, West Long Branch, who are right here on the periphery, to make sure that whatever we're doing, then maybe we can all get on the same page. Because if we do something and they don't, ultimately, we could be back in this problem.
Yeah, because right now, we're talking about doing a non-lethal way of doing it.
Right.
And we could do that, but then towns around us, if their deers come into our town,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't
and
stop
they're
them.
not sterile,
Well, they'll be scared.
yeah.
The word will get out.
We need
Well,
a
I
deer
mean-
toll, that's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the biggest issue is there's just, people, we saw what had happened when we had those meetings. People came out against hunting in these areas locally with,
Oh, yeah.
and I think it's a tricky thing to do.
Mhm.
I mean, any way, we're gonna have to invest some kind of,
Yeah, something has to be
You know.
done. So we'll wait till we get the study back.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Anything else?
We got to wait till we get the answer back from.
Right.
From DEP.
Yeah, no, I mean the answer back from
Right.
DEP.
I have other items for executive session.
Okay, great.
You got-
Uh,
that's right, that's right.
Got me?
Yeah, go.
Got a
Political
request
pressure.
from a resident, so it's only one person,
Okay.
asking if we would consider to do both in-person and virtual meetings. I don't remember, we may or may not have had this conversation before,
Mhm.
but I said I'd bring it up, and I said I would take the pulse.
I think it was hard to do. I think it was kind of a.
Well, technology allows it.
Oh, okay.
Tru-
I'm just trying to remember we did mention it and bring it up at one
It,
point, and
it,
it
it
was
certainly
some kind
can be
of-
done. I mean, it's not.
Okay, we can add that work session next time if we
Okay.
want to discuss. We'll move it into,
Okay.
Jesse,
see how the agendas and,
Note those two things, the
right.
JCP&L
JCP&L.
hold and now the
In person.
in virtual.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sent you an email, sent it to Jake, copied you on, and then Dan, what's his name? Don, but I forgot, I can't remember his name.
Jake answered you though, right?
No, I didn't see an answer.
Was this the one that was
He's not
about?
allowed to.
He was
why do
looking
we
for,
post-
no, yes, I copied it.
Why do we don't post information?
Yes,
Okay, so Jake spoke to me about that. His whole preference was he'd rather have, because it's not that easy just to read it. He'd rather
kind of what I
have-
said,
He wanted people to come in.
which the gentleman did,
Yep.
but now apparently he got 7 pages of comps. I can't believe that's for the whole town, that was just for him,
I would believe so.
right?
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
it should be pertaining to his property.
Right.
But normally you don't get that
I don't know
much.
about that.
That's kind of where I'm going
Yeah.
with this. So he made it sound that Jacob gave him, could be reading it wrong, all of the comps that were used for all of the town.
Or maybe it was a certain section of it.
Maybe it was recently sold stuff.
Yeah.
So
Let's ask Jake, because
Well, how many lines on a page? Because it's going to be that the comps would be in the last 12 months.
right?
You know,
Exactly.
So the number of usable sales within 12 months, residential ones are, probably 7 pages, probably is the entire,
Town?
you know, and you
Yeah,
may
it
have a
might be
point there,
current.
especially in this market too.
Right.
So
So
it could be.
his request was to put it, because Jake has it, or it's
Mhm.
available, he used it to do the assessment,
Mhm.
and this person was saying, if
It-
people are
Jake-
going in for appeals, which is now is the time,
Mhm.
3 days, that if we made it available, they wouldn't have to come, they wouldn't have to talk.
Mhm.
And I don't know the process, I'm just
it is
asking.
also available from the county tax site. If you go to the county tax board, it has sales data. There's a couple of drop downs that allow you to input certain things, but you can find it there also. I mean, their site has sales data as well.
Got it, okay, so it's available,
Yeah, and Jake's preference is he wants folks to come in.
that's fine, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more, residents, plural, after attending a meeting at Oakhurst Meeting Room, this is not the naming, were concerned about the quality of the tables in the room.
We need to buy the table.
Letting you know that the quality of the tables are less than desirable.
Really?
Oakhurst meeting room,
Yes.
Without a name.
Which is on the agenda, so we better not be skipping it.
I have to get
Yeah.
Right now, we gotta move.
We need a
Anything else?
site, we need a site.
Marge,
visit.
go ahead. Anything?
Did anybody meet with the gentleman who was looking into the homeless
Yes, I did.
and any update?
I did
or-
meet with him.
Okay.
I can-
We all got that email, right?
Individually.
Yes,
Individually, I know.
very nice young gentleman who came in to speak about homeless prevention. He's actually working on a book. He's collecting clothes. He's gotten grants for the homeless. I put him in contact with Sharon Molesky, and this way he can take the ball and run with a program with Sharon through our Human Services. And then I told him whatever support he needs from us, we'll get the message out and do what we can to help him out.
Okay, I said I'd mention it at the meeting tonight, if that, just to. put his phone
Absolutely, yeah,
number.
you can report out on that. David?
Yes, so we made some rudimentary inquiries into bringing back the mayor's golf tournament with the Community Hope Fund. So I've got an email out there, so I'm,
We're gonna split that this time with Celebration and Hope Fund.
however you want to celebrate it is fine with me. We're bringing back the golf tournament, and I will work in conjunction with the Recreation Department and Community Hope. So John says I'm the lead, I guess I'm the lead on this, so that's all.
I don't play golf, but I-
Fundraising
It's a
abilities, I may
wonderful
be
night.
putting
We'll have a good time.
Miss Terry
What's
on
the
that one as
targeted
well.
Sometime
She's
late
got her own golf
October.
out.
Late October.
So,
She does, but ours
Coming up.
comes after that.
Yeah, after June 6th,
I will-
after
Ours
June
comes
12th, you got
after
my
that.
help.
Dave, I think we'll have Kelly help out on some ideas, because I'd like to try to beef up the fundraising, because
Listen, let's just-
Celebration and
we'll
Hope
get it
Fund
all
could use
together,
some money.
but I'm glad to have you aboard.
Class of 85, baby.
For many
There you
reasons.
go. Gotta help.
That's all I
Yep.
got.
Yep.
Anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, public.
Oh,
Yes,
Jackie got
sir.
it.
I do. I'll let
Jesse.
you go
I
next.
dropped
Wait.
off,
I'll go last.
I dropped off on your desk a copy of the federal, as I was leaving at the last meeting, I wanted you to have a copy of the federal
Health insurance.
insurance cost data. Do you remember me dropping that
Yes.
with you?
Yes, for the
Because
opting
you were
in.
voting that night on a prior, 3 months earlier, you were voting on the minutes of a meeting that referenced the cost of the health insurance for the state of New Jersey. And there was a note in there from the city council regarding it. So I wanted you to understand the concept that the federal has an insurance program that you personally use. It's possibly the one that your family
You
uses.
opt in or opt out of it.
But it is the one you're familiar with, and it's half the cost or a third of the cost of the state of New Jersey program. I just want you to have a mental jog of a program you've been using for 10 or 20 years versus what the state is using, so you could think in terms of how those two are structured, that the federal is hugely cheaper for 3.5 million people. I just wanted that to be something in your mind, of a memory jog of the cost structures. This is the reason I dropped it with you. They have all seen that previously in other meetings. They've all seen that. Regarding Wiccapaco, the same as before, we are not in the golf business. We are not here to compete with other people. We're gonna have over $3 million in that by the time we're done with this. If we could sell that property, get rid of our losses, cut our losses on Wiccapaco, Dave, I'd really appreciate it if we could sell that property and get it out of our hair. It's been inconvenient for the last 2.5, 3, 4 years. If we could sell that property and get rid of it, not build a golf simulator, not compete with private industry, not join a commercial enterprise, not have pensionable people running. If you could please sell that property the same as you're selling Logan Road, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, John. The only thing that I would say at tonight's meeting is I would encourage, very much encourage, this deer thing to keep going and include the surrounding towns, because the deer don't know where the dividing lines are.
Thank you so much.
So, there's no sign that says, okay, get out of here, you're in Oakhurst or in Ocean Township, you belong in Eatontown. And it is a thing that is the area, it's not just our town that has these issues. And it should be some similarity to how we do it.
Jack, we will contact the neighboring governing body as well, once we get through.
And I'm just encouraging
Right.
that.
No, you heard me say that. I believe that we should have communication with the surrounding towns that have the issue. Not Asbury Park, because they're not really in that. But to me, it's more Tinton Falls,
Eatontown.
West Long Branch, Eatontown.
And Deal.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack.
Allenhurst.
Maybe one branch. okay.
Pair of Jacks again. Trips to win.
Albert.
Never split a pair of jacks.
Right?
Yes, Jack.
On your agenda tonight, there's the resolution for sustainable land use. Just some background, we had a little issue with the Sustainable Jersey certification, because there was one thing that wasn't approved that we need for our certification, so this is a way for us to make sure that we get it.
David has been, fully aware of that, and that will be rectified this year.
Yeah.
Margie has had, Councilwoman, if you want, Deputy Mayor, if you want to.
Yes, so we have it on for the agenda tonight, and hopefully we'll pass that resolution. That'll help Sustainable Jersey get us points, and then also with points, we can get grants and good things for the town, so thank you, Jack.
Yes.
And
Thanks,
I just
Jack.
want to say Jack has been awesome it's a totally volunteer position, and he's been working on getting this up and running. While he's here, I should probably mention, we're going to do the Green Fest again in April 23rd.
23rd or the 30th, depending on the availability of the park.
Okay, so end of April, we're gonna do the Green Fest again, and we're gonna be looking for sponsors, anybody who can help donate food or money to,
Anyone want to hire like a big performing act, like?
We had a band last year, which was awesome. Unfortunately, the timing, it was like coming out of COVID, but also we had the spring break.
Yeah.
People were coming back from spring break, so the attendance wasn't as high as we'd want, but hopefully this year.
We had about 120 people that came
Yeah.
out last year, but we want to get 10 times that amount.
And build it up.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Closed session? Oh, wait, Jesse, go ahead, I'm sorry. Again, I did it to you.
Sorry. I received a call from the county regarding voting, and she asked if you were interested in doing early voting. It would be
Oh, for the municipal election?
Municipal election. They have it for the primary, they have it for
Mhm.
the general, but we would have to bear the costs for the municipal election.
How much would it be?
About 30,000.
No.
Probably not.
No.
They're gonna give me, we don't have to, like.
Will they
commit
offer
right
it for November as,
now. Oh, yeah, they'll have it in November.
no, will they offer us as a location for November or just Neptune, Long Branch
Well,
like they did last time?
We're the only ones that have.
No, but he's trying
No,
to,
no, no,
he's
no, what I'm
negotiating.
saying is-
Oh, we tried.
No, what I'm saying is, yeah, May, we're not spending 30 grand on
For
that, but,
municipal, but
right.
when we, they're gonna come back with a real
Right.
big cost estimate, but it's
Okay.
a lot of money.
Okay.
And it would be May 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay, we're
And
set.
if Red Bank decides to do it, we could split the cost with them.
Oh, because they're doing May too.
They just
They just switched.
switched
They
their
just
form of
switched.
government. So we'll get a price and I'll email you all and we could change, but it's.
Yeah, I don't think it's,
I don't think it's worth it.
No.
Okay.
There's not enough people who are gonna, I don't think it's, yeah.
Okay, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter
Let's roll right in.
231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Ocean County and Monmouth as follows. The public shall be excluded from the discussion of and action upon hereinafter specified subject matters. Number 2, general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Litigation various matters, litigation various properties, and personnel various departments.
There we go.
Want to contact him to schedule a drop-off or find out what he needs, his number is 917-617-2176. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Councilman Fisher.
I just want to wish everybody a happy new year and look in your mailboxes, your calendars are there. I did get a couple of calls, people looking for their calendars, and they have arrived, so enjoy.
Thank you. Councilman Achara.
Just a happy new year.
Thank you, sir. And David.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to ditto everybody with a Happy New Year and a successful 2023.
Thank you, sir. And Matthew.
Oh, happy new year, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Good evening and Happy New Year. I have a statement I'd like to make. I'm truly excited about the team that's up on the dais right here and set for 2023. With the signing of the deal to purchase the Kepwell property last Thursday afternoon, I'm pleased to say that this team is leading the Township of Ocean in a very positive direction in the upcoming year. We've now preserved an additional 6 acres of open space, which included now our own lake. This was a better use of funds with more space being kept open for a lot less money. This is only the beginning of more positive things to come. Of course, nothing in the community here is a success without our employees. And in any great organization, it starts with excellent leadership at the top. And we as a council were chosen by the voters to make sure that we chose the best management that this township has to offer to run the day-to-day operations. So David Brown, I thank you for completing your first full year here in our township by bringing about the positive changes that we were seeking to continue our progressive move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Within the last 18 months, we have had a lot of changes. We have a new CFO, a new tax assessor, a new clerk, a new chief of police, a new councilwoman, a new mayor, a new deputy mayor, a new attorney filling in occasionally, and soon-to-be new public works director in 2023. It amazes me what's transpired in our township within this amount of time and the amount of change that we've had to attend with. And yet, everything transitioned so smoothly that I can't say enough about the employees that we have within the Township of Ocean. So let me start the year off right by thanking everybody, the rank and file staff, for enduring these changes and assisting your new bosses throughout the Township of Ocean. Yes, this is more change than the average township sees in 10 years, but you did it. You helped. You made the transition smooth, seamless, and just easy. Thank you to all our staff, from our town hall employees, especially Jesse, with helping me transition to mayor, to our police department, and especially our chief of police, Mike Sorrentino, for being extremely collaborative and fair with my fellow union brothers and sisters. I thank our rank and file police and our volunteer fire and first aid departments for keeping us safe, our public works department for helping keep the streets clean, the buildings fixed, the parks in shape, and just being there, our recreation department for creating fun and new events with Mike and Jen leading, to our human service department for always being there in the many capacities to assist our residents, especially creating new events for our growing senior community, and of course, our volunteers. The volunteers never get enough thanks for what they do for this community, and there are too many individual communities and groups to thank each one. And if I missed any group, please accept my sincerest apologies. I thank each and every person here and in this township that has had a hand in making this Township of Ocean the community of gracious living that it is. So I would love to give them a big round of applause because they're the ones that have made it done. I look forward to leading this council in 2023. We have a lot of work to do, and I know we will continue the positive changes we collectively want to accomplish as a team. I'm excited for this township and look forward to 2023 as an even more productive year than ever. It won't come without challenges, and it won't come without disagreements on direction. It's how we, as the leadership of this township, conduct ourselves in a professional and collaborative manner for what's in the best interest of our community and for the betterment of the residents, regardless of those disagreements. Spirited discussion is what we strive for as leaders. So, to the Township of Ocean residents, I want to assure everyone that although we have experienced significant changes in leadership over the past 18 months, we have proven that this township is continuing to operate business as usual with some truly positive changes. We will continue to be accessible to your needs. We will work on our customer service skills because you, as the residents, are the customer. And of course, we will conduct ourselves in a professional and collaborative manner throughout our time serving you. From all of us up here on the dais, we thank you for allowing us to serve in our individual capacities up here. We look forward to continuing to execute our vision because each person up here has the best interests of the Township of Ocean, our community of gracious living at heart. Again, thank you. With that being said, are there any public questions in regard to the agenda this evening? The purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions, to understand resolutions that appear on this agenda, and is not an occasion for public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Are there any comments? Seeing here none, Consent agenda. Can I have someone offer the consent agenda on resolutions number 1 through 9?
I'll move for the resolutions to be approved.
Second.
I will second that.
Roll call.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Individual action vouchers in the amount of $3,666,391.90. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second. Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 10, authorize the mayor and council and municipal clerk to execute the 2023 agreement with the Monmouth County for the Special Citizens Area Transportation, also known as SCAT. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Someone second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 11, authorize professional service contracts for the year January 1st through December 31st, 2023 for the following. A, Animal Control Services, the Monmouth County SPCA. B, Appraisal Services, Sockler Realty Services Group, Inc. 3, COA Attorney, Serenian Edwards and Nolan, LLC. D, COA Consultant, Clark, Caton, and Hintz. E, Bond Counsel, Gluck, Walworth, LLP. F, Auditing Services, Supley, Cooney and Company. G, our Labor Attorney, Ruderman and Roth, LLC. H, Planning Services, James W. Higgins Associates. I, Financial Advisory Consultant, NW Financial Group, LLC. J, Grants Research Portal Services, Millennium Strategies, LLC. And K, the Redevelopment Council, McMannion, Scotland, and Bauman, LLC. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes,
Don?
except,
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, slow down.
Sorry.
Yes, except for J.
Okay. Sorry. Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 12, approve the 2023 cash management plan. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 13, approve the 2023 interest rates and penalties for delinquent taxes, assessments, and other municipal charges. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Someone second.
I'll second. Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution, what am I, 14? 14, authorize the 2023 tax sale and request approval from the Division of Local Government Services to conduct said sale electronically. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 15, authorize a contract with Seacoast Chevrolet to perform vehicle repairs for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2023, at a cost not to exceed $30,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 16, authorizing the cancellation of added and omitted taxes for year 2022 and refunding or crediting the tax overpayment resulting from Monmouth County Board of Taxation judgments to the following taxpayers. A, Block 50, Lot A, in the amount of $6,179.19. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 17, authorizing the cancellation of taxes for 2022 and refunding or crediting the tax overpayments resulting from the New Jersey State Tax Court and Monmouth County Tax Board judgments to the following taxpayers. Letter A, Block 8.2, Lot 2, in the amount of $2,653.43. Letter B, Block 23, Lot 26.1, in the amount of $2,263.73. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 18, authorize a maintenance contract for the police communications console equipment with wireless communications and electronics for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2023, at a cost not to exceed $18,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. Resolution 19 authorizes submission and acceptance of the Special Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP, grant administered by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. Resolution 20, a resolution of support from the Township of Ocean to submit an application and abide by concessions of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for year 2023 Local Recreational Improvement Grant Program. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. And Resolution 21 authorizes settlement agreement and release between the Township of Ocean and Christopher and Linda Law for the property known as Block 159, Lot 1, located at 100 Cold Indian Springs Road. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Terry.
Abstain.
And Napletani.
Yes. Resolution, if you have it out there, it's actually a different one. It's Resolution 22, authorizing the extension of the installment plan for property owners who have not remitted their installment for the special assessment as confirmed on May 13th, 2021. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. And Resolution 23, authorize the consideration of the following bids, requests for proposals. A, bulk material recovery facility, Mazza Recycling Services Limited. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. Resolution 24, adopting the 2023 temporary budget. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. And ordinances for adoption. Ordinance 2403 will have a public hearing which will be held on January 26, 2023. So we will move on to ordinance 2406, an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled General Police Regulations. Can I have someone open public discussion on ordinance 2403?
I'd like to open public discussion on ordinance 2403.
Wait,
2406.
2406.
That's what I was looking, I was
apologies.
here, listening to you and looking at this. 2406.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2406, please step up to the mic, state your name and address. Seeing here none, someone please close public discussion on ordinance 2406.
I'd like to close the public discussion on ordinance 2406.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. Ordinance 2406, someone action.
I'd like to move to adopt ordinance 2406 and publish according to law.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes. And ordinance 2407 will also have its public hearing, which will be held on January 26, 2023. We have introductions of ordinance 2408. Jesse, could you please read?
Sure. A bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment for the township golf utility, appropriating $1,600,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,520,000 of bonds and notes to finance a portion of the costs thereof.
Someone please introduce ordinance 2408.
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2408.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara.
Yes.
Donlin.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Napletani.
Yes, this ordinance will have its public hearing as well on January 26, 2023. Ordinance 2409. Jussie, please read.
An ordinance amending Chapter 16 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Parks and Playgrounds.
Can someone introduce ordinance 2409?
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2409.
Can someone second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Napletani?
Yes, and that ordinance will also be held, public hearing will be held on January 26, 2023. Ordinance 2410. Jesse.
An ordinance amending Chapter 14 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Swimming Pools.
Someone please introduce ordinance 2410.
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2410.
And second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Napletani?
Yes. And and that too will also be held on the 26th of January 2023. Public comment. This is a time that you can comment on anything germane to the Township of Ocean. Again, step up to the mic, state your name and address. Seeing here none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nobody. Meeting adjourned.